has to be done. You have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to rise to the occasions. There's times you want to scream and pull your hair out and say, you know what, I'm done. I've had enough. But it's truly a love for fashion, a love for being a creative and doing what you do that allows you to keep pushing along, because it's a very fast-paced industry as well. While you're working on finishing up one collection, you have to already be in the mode of starting to crank out the other one, so to speak.
Wow. And that was going to be one of my things because Alan can tell you, even with doing the show, if things going on or you can't find your
Yes.
guests and stuff, you're like, this Alan, this is my last day. We won't be going forward anymore. So I wonder, what is that intensity like for you? Because I mean, you like you said, it's fast paced. You gotta pick the girls, you gotta pick the material, you gotta,
Yes.
like you said, make
Yes.
sure it flows with the season. And like, what happens when you have like a wardrobe malfunction or something like that, and they're ready to walk on the runway? What do you do?
I have experienced that, and it's definitely not a good feeling. I'm thankful that I have a team that really comes through in the clutch for me. And one of the people in that team, believe it or not, is my mother. She is graced under pressure. So while I'm kind of like ranting and raving, she's the calm one. She's like, we got this. I remember actually at a fashion week that I did last year in Philadelphia, we had an issue with the lining in one of the dresses. And it wasn't something you could pick up on, initially. So while I'm getting models fitted, she's in the back, needle and thread, and she's, hand stitching up this lining so that it doesn't hang. The little tucks, a couple inches here and there that need to be done. She's manually doing that, whether she's sewing it or she's pinning it. So those things, believe it or not, do happen. We've had issues not only just with designs, but sometimes with hair and makeup, where we've requested a certain look that doesn't come through. So we have to figure out, is there time to make an adjustment? If we can't, where do we go from here? There's times I've had to switch models out. I'm very much a stickler on, catering to the vision of the line. So I'm very hands-on, like I said, when it comes to the music, when it comes to the set, when it comes to the hair and the makeup. All of that stuff plays a very important part into having the vision for the life, to stay true to that and to have it come alive on the runway.
Wow. I just think that is so amazing. We see it on, like you said, we see the end results. We see the models and they're walking so gracefully and they look so beautiful. And I can only imagine what's happening, because I've
Yeah.
helped a little bit with theater, like behind the scenes. And behind the scenes, boy, if you would open that curtain, you would
Oh
see
yeah.
so many.
Yeah. It can be very, very, very hectic. There's times sometimes you may have issues with models, and just other things that go wrong on the set. And you have to, because it's so fast paced and sometimes you're down to the wire and it's something that you can't fix, you have to find a way to work around it. And sometimes you only have a split
That's it.
second to be able to make that decision and still keep a smile on your face at the same time, no matter how frustrated you are, because it is truly over. That 5 minutes seems like a blink of an eye. And then after that, you come down, you exhale, and then you get maybe a week break in there, and then you start all over again.
Start on the next one. I hear you. So, even like the models, do they sometimes, are like, why am I doing this? Why did I put myself in this position? Or, what's it like working with the different models and things that they might be going through?
I'm blessed. I have had a very good rapport with, I would say, a majority of the models that I've worked with. There is a saying in the industry that models are just the hangers. that they're a hanger. They're there to model the clothes. So I think a lot of times models don't necessarily get the respect rather that they deserve. But I think as a designer, I understand that my design doesn't come to life until they put that design on and they step on the runway. It will never be the same look and the same feel of my design being on a mannequin or being on a hanger versus being on a model. So I definitely have a lot of appreciation and respect for them, not only for what they do, but just them as people. So, I treat them accordingly, and I'm blessed to have models that tell me, you know what, if you ever need me, I'm there. It doesn't matter how far I have to travel. Um, I had models tell me, it's an honor to work for you. You are one of the nicest designers I've worked for. And, that's a compliment. But then on the same note, it's also sad because you figure if this is their career and they feel that I'm the nicest, then, what does that say about the demeanor of a lot of other designers that they come in contact with? And I think there definitely has to be a mutual respect. I've had some negative experiences. I've had some models, and I think it really depends on how seasoned they are, where they are in their career, whether they've just started, whether they take it seriously, and just overall how professional they are. I've had a model where I've had to kind of, chastise. She was chewing gum. That's just a taboo. That's something you don't do. I run into it where a model told me she could not walk in stiletto heels. And, that's very uncommon because all models should be able to wear heels. So it's instances like that, that you run into. Some models, they kind of, they take your designs off and they leave them on the floor. Well, my designs are formal designs. So a lot of money goes into them, as far as the fabric and the cost of, them getting made. So I think the biggest thing is really the respect issue, that it needs to come across on both ends. And I think as long as that's extended, you pretty much, you won't have any problems. But I tend to find that a lot of the issues that I've had have been in some of the models that are probably at the very beginning, of their career, or some of them that really don't take it that seriously.
Oh, okay. Yeah, take it off and leave it on the floor. What?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that
not
was a big shock. And I was like, hey, you don't do that.
yeah, that's a no-no from like 5 years old.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like them not recognizing how much time and money has went into even creating that design.
Wow. Wow. So what has been like your favorite runway, or where's your favorite place to work and to do a show?
I would definitely have to say New York. And New York Fashion Week, that's definitely where it's at as far as, in the States. So I think the first time that I did New York, which was in 2018, that was definitely a highlight for me. And I think that's a highlight for every designer. That's something, that they aspire to definitely be on the runways during New York Fashion Week. So I actually had a company that had reached out to me. They actually saw my designs on social media and they were interested in me coming and being a part of their platform during New York Fashion Week. So I was very, very excited about that. So not only have I done Fashion Week in New York, I've done it in Philadelphia. I've done some local platforms here in my respective home state of Delaware when I first started. And I've also done Fashion Week in LA as well.
Okay. I know I've seen the advertisement for Fashion Week in New York, and I have some friends that are in New York and some family, and I was like, ooh, I would like to be up there one week when she's doing, but my time
Yeah,
ain't
you have to. You have to.
but
It's definitely a great experience. And I was blessed to be able to have my whole family there with me and a lot of other friends that actually came up from Delaware and they were there for my show. So that was pretty cool. I actually have a picture of one of the models coming down the runway and my son was sitting in the front row and you can actually see
aw.
him in the picture, which was pretty cool. And he's putting on social media, yeah, I'm in New York for my mom for New York Fashion Week. And somebody was saying, oh, what designer are you going to see? And he was like, my mom. So I thought that was pretty cool, but
Oh, that's awesome.
definitely a rewarding experience. Definitely that.
So where did this love of fashion come from? Did you model years ago, or did you just love material? Do you love just designing? Where did that come from?
Oh gosh. Well, I did model a little bit when I was younger, but naturally I don't have the height for runway. But in all honesty, I would have to say that my love for fashion started with Barbie. I was that little girl that had to have every Barbie. I would sit and just play dress up with the Barbie dolls for hours.
Mhm.
I cut their hair. I was always, creating different types of outfits. So I would have to really say that's where it started for me. I also had, and I don't know if you will remember this, Allie, or some of the viewers might recall this, but it is a fashion thing called fashion plates, where you could
Yeah,
actually have, it's kind of like a crayon where you can kind of go over a sketch and create all
yeah.
different outfits. So I vividly remember that. Always would, my mom would get Cosmo and Vogue, and I would flip through the magazines. I would play dress up, walk in her heels, play in her makeup, all of that. So I was definitely the girly girl at a young age. And I was the girl who had the 64 box of Crayola. So, my husband jokes me, he's like, well, who knows what color chartreuse is? Just say green. Just
Just
say, and
say
I was like,
green.
don't get mad at me because you had the eight box of Crayola. I had the 64. So he's like, all these colors that the average person doesn't even say. So I've always lived in that world of color as well. I believe I've always been a creative at heart, ever since a young age. And it's funny as you get older and you look at, what you're called to do and where you're at and walking in your purpose. And then you actually look back to when you were young and you can pick up on things that you were actually doing then or that you were exposed to at a young age that actually helped to get you to where you are now.
Right. That is so funny because she is right. Some of the colors I'm like, what color is that?
Exactly. So when I was in high school, I would add embellishments and studs and fringe
Yeah.
to jeans and things like that. I had started, doing some sketching as well. I still have that original sketchbook, but I've always been a bit of a fashionista, I guess you would say. And it kind of started for me, I would say within the last 15 years, I started doing some styling a little bit just for friends. They would call me and ask me for my advice. Hey, what kind of pants should I put with this top? Or what kind of accessories should I put with this outfit? So it kind of really started, in a styling respect for me. And then I decided to start one of my businesses, which is Diva Couture. And that is an online retail boutique, jewelry, shoes, accessories, some apparel. It kind of started from there. And then it's amazing how when you take one step to walking in your purpose, how doors just begin to open. I think that was the amazing thing. I started Diva Couture back in 2008. From there, and just going out and vending and meeting people were like, oh, well, can I have you come to our event and do like a short presentation on image? Women need to know, what should they wear, what should they do, to work on their image. So it started from there. I started doing 15-minute, 30-minute presentations on image. And then from there, I started writing. Um, I was doing freelance articles on image, various magazines. And then I started authoring and co-authoring books, Making of a Mogul, The Undiscovered Jewel, which is my baby.
Mhm.
And just from there, it just continued to evolve. But back in 2015, with all of that I was doing, it still felt like it wasn't enough. It felt like something was missing, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And it wasn't until I started designing in 2015 that I figured out that's what it is. That's where my true passion is at. Because one thing with designing, you're there for every aspect of the journey from the very beginning. You're hands on. Um, every part of you is, in this process, and I think that's the beautiful thing about it.
Wow, that's amazing. I love it. I love it. And that's one of the things I was like, when I found out, I was like, you're an accountant
Yeah,
and you're
we
author,
forgot to put that in there
you're a
as well.
consultant. I'm like, how do you do all that?
Yeah, I actually got my degree in accounting. So the big joke is accounting something I'm good at, but fashion is something I'm passionate about. So that's where the difference lies. But um, my father, he passed in 2015. He actually had a business, an accounting business that I actually took over. So yes, I still do that. And one thing about that is so good is that accounting is so crucial to understand the fundamentals, especially when you're in business, no matter what
Right.
business you're in, because I have to understand, profit margin and cost and, and all those kind of things. So, when I'm looking at the cost that it takes to actually create a design, versus other expenses that are involved and just the overall production, all those things are important, not only just from an accounting or a business aspect, but also from the creative aspect.
Wow, that's true. Because, like you're saying, even like the types of material, if you
Yes.
don't take into consideration the type, what it's going to cost, how much you're going to use, I think some designers, um, I don't know designers like you, but I know somebody who said they wanted to do that when they were younger, but they got frustrated because they didn't know how they were going to be able to make money.
Yeah,
But it's
it's
just that.
definitely a lot. It really is. And that's, I think, why you have so many designers that end up at some point, either pulling back or giving up, so to speak, because there are a lot of challenges. You could end up putting out so many different collections before you actually start to get a return, on your investment. And then you also have to figure out, okay, as a designer, what is going to be my niche? What am I going to design? Like for me, I've done some ready to wear, but after designing a few collections, I realized I gravitated towards formal wear. It's
Mm,
something about a gown. It's something about, that long formal gown that just accentuates a woman, the way that it drapes her, the way that it moves with her, and just all the different embellishments and adornments. And naturally, with us being in COVID, nobody's really going anywhere. The events have kind of, ceased or really downsized. So even as designers, depending on whatever your niche is, we have to figure out, okay, how do we adjust? How do we pivot during the season? So I'm also right now finishing up the last collection that I was working on kind of when the pandemic kicked in and my manufacturer had closed, but also working on a line that's a little bit more casual because that's the attire that we've gravitated to towards this pandemic.
awesome, awesome. This is some good stuff. I like it. I like it. I like to know what's going on like behind the scenes with things. Like I just like the behind the scenes stuff. I like to know what's happening. Like to know what people are feeling like. But I definitely hope that anybody who wants to be a designer, they're picking up on some tips from you, Dale. And just, I like to encourage people, no matter where they are in life, if there's a desire that they have, that if it's a vision, if it's a
Hmm.
goal, that they can get to it. It's going to take some time. So
Yes.
one thing about your designs, when you were first doing it and you were learning things, did you have somebody that you could reach out to? Was there somebody that you studied? What kept you going in even in that season?
Well, for one, I have a very strong drive, which helps. I don't give up very easily. I get frustrated. I have my moment, and then I keep pressing. But yes, I was blessed. There were some other designers who were more seasoned than me that gave me a lot of valuable advice. I was thankful for that because sometimes people are not willing to share and pour into other people, sometimes in certain industries. But I was thankful that I had that I had other designers that they were like, you know what, you got any questions, you know, call me. If you just want to talk, call me. So I was blessed that I had that. And I'm blessed that I also have people that I can tap into that can give me advice as far as, from a marketing perspective. Because to be creative is great. You can have a beautiful product, but in this day and age, if you don't know how to promote it or properly market it, then it doesn't get to the consumer. It doesn't get the exposure that it needs to get. So I've learned that that's very important. So in a lot of ways, I've had to change and, navigate differently. And I think especially in this season, as we understand that an online presence is just definitely important, especially with a lot of our brick and mortar stores that have either had to scale back or that have closed, where people aren't actively, going out, doing a lot of face-to-face shopping. So it's important to build that online presence up. If, as a designer, if you have not already, by way of website. And I think you have to learn what platform is good for your collection. Is it going to be for you as a designer to do the fashion weeks, to get your exposure that way? As a designer, is it going to be, a good platform for you to get your designs in a boutique or a retail store? Or is it now we have direct to consumer, where we have the outlets like the QVCs and the HSN and a lot of the fashion shows that you watch, they have it set up, the platform where you can do direct to consumer, so you can shop while you're watching the runway show and get it right off the runway. So I think that's one of the key things as a designer you need to look at. How am I going to promote my product? Okay, I have the product, I have the design, I have the collection. What's the best way for me to promote it?
Wow. Very good information, because those are the little things that will get you stumped.
Yeah.
You are so creative and there's more inside of you. You're able to do it, but then you're like, but nobody's seeing it. Nobody's hearing my voice, nobody's
Yes.
able to see, the vision that I have. This will bless so many people. So I definitely, if you're listening, do not get frustrated. Reach out. And, also with this world of Google now, we didn't
That's
have
right.
that 40 years ago where we could just, go on Google and find stuff, or even, get on like Facebook and social media where there are different fashion groups and things that you can join.
Yes.
I definitely say research, don't just jump and believe everybody's advice, and don't just, get into a collaboration with anyone.
Right.
Make
I
sure
agree.
you are, watching them for a while before you collaborate. And, another thing, one of the musicians we've had on before, he always says contracts.
Yes.
Contracts. That's point blank, period. Tell
Yes.
us a little bit about that. How important is
And
that?
I do that even with the models. Um, Anytime, I mean, through the fashion weeks, you're actually selecting from their pool of models. So that kind of, it kind of goes without saying what the protocol is. They receive their protocol, directly from the committee on the fashion weeks. But anytime that I solicit models for a venture that I'm doing or a particular shoot, there is a contract involved. That's very, very important because you get a lot of models. They may want to take pictures behind the scenes, release those pictures, and you don't want those pictures out until the collection is actually released. So that from a business perspective, the contracts are very important, not only with the models, but as designers, if you've solicited a manufacturer, if you solicited, a seamstress, um, then you definitely want contracts in place so that each party knows what is expected of them, and they know what to deliver. They know the cost that's involved, or any fees that apply. So those things are very, very important. And I think it's just more of the issue of doing, having everything in order, being organized and having guidelines, set, and every party understands what's expected of them.
Definitely. And I'm learning something, something I'm doing right now. Deadlines are important. When
Yes.
you need to not just, tell somebody, hey, can you sew this for me? Or can you do this for me?
Hmm.
You have to give dates and deadlines and
Yes.
and put in that contract, if it's not delivered at this time, I'll just expect a refund,
Yes.
because, a lot of times too, you get frustrated dealing with people and you want to help people and you want to be like, oh, well, she's busy, he's busy. But at the same time, they're holding up your journey. So but
Exactly.
I think that only comes when hey, I'm worthy to receive a quality
Mhm.
product.
And I think a big part of it is just really treating people how you want to be treated. It is really as basic as that. But a lot of people don't get it. And I was telling someone the other day, what people have to understand, there is a difference between a business owner, an entrepreneur, and a hustler.
True.
And I say a hustler in the sense when you hear people say, I got a side hustle or I have a hustle. The mentality for each of those three things are completely different. The mindset that you carry. So when I look at somebody who has a hustle, it's about the money.
Right.
Bottom line, you're
Right.
doing what you have to do to make that dollar. So if your goal is, I'm going to make $500 this week, you're doing what you have to do to make $500. You're not necessarily looking at how you operate or how you do things to get that $500. As a business owner, you should be motivated by a set of morals or standards and ethics in order to run your business. There's a way that you should do things.
Right.
And money is not your priority. It's not your motive for why you do what you do. But you want to provide a product or a service that you enjoy that people will benefit from. And
Yeah.
the money is the benefit. The money will come.
Right.
And an entrepreneur, and you kind of have your hands in different areas, but ultimately all of your all those areas or all those businesses are all kind of tied together.
Right.
You're still operating by standards, ethics, overall morals. You're just doing it at a much higher level. But ultimately, I think the key between those three, or rather between the business owner, the entrepreneur versus the hustler, is that you have to have integrity.
Yes. Yes.
That's key in any business. And I think sometimes when you have a side hustle or a hustler per se, you don't always operate with integrity because the money is what's motivating you. And that's what I always try to do, is operate in integrity, doing things honestly, being very clear, being very concise with my clients or just people in general. But ultimately, what it comes down to is treating people how you want to be treated. You want to receive good customer service, so you should give good customer service. You want to receive a good quality product, so therefore you should provide a good quality product. And ask yourself, is this something that I would buy? Is
Right.
this something that I would want? Is this something that I would benefit from? And I think if you look at things from that focal point, that helps you keep things into perspective. Because I think a lot of times, especially with a hustle, you tend to take shortcuts, and you don't necessarily operate in integrity or do things the way that you should.
Yeah.
And
No.
eventually it'll come across. You won't retain, a
Right.
customer base that way.
Right. And I would even challenge the hustler because, eventually if you're operating in integrity and if you're,
Mhm,
just let that be known. Look, I don't want, I'm not looking for a long-term contract. I'm just trying to get this
mhm.
$500. What's the least I can do to get, you know what I'm saying? Don't
Yes.
expect
Yeah.
this or that. Even that you can operate in integrity. And if you operate in integrity and eventually your hustle will become a business.
Yeah.
Because we have to really in this season, because who knew COVID was coming? Who
That's
knew that
right.
we wouldn't be working for almost a whole year?
Yeah.
You
And
know?
the blessing, it's funny that you mentioned that, Allie, because sometimes what we look at as a nightmare scenario or something or a negative scenario ends up being a blessing, because one thing that COVID has allowed, by allowing people to either, if unfortunately if you've gotten laid off or if you are working from home, is now you have time. You have time. You're not running that physical rat race every day. You have time to kind of take into perspective everything that you have going on. And now it's letting you know what? I can't rely on just that paycheck. I can't rely on just that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Or it's an opportunity to say, you know what? This is the time. I have time on my hands now. I can, try to start, working on some of those dreams and those aspirations that I have
Mhm.
with this time that I have, which is something that a lot of people couldn't do before. And that was a conversation that I had with a family member about a month ago. She has an awesome job in corporate, making great money, but she still feels a void.
Mm,
Like, there's other things that I want to do.
yeah.
And I said, and I posed to her the question that was actually posed to me by someone years ago before I started. What would you do for free?
Mm,
And she's like, well, I love to do this. I love to do that. I said, that's where you start, because what you're passionate about, you'll continue with that even when you have the challenges, even when it becomes struggling. It becomes a struggle because you're passionate about it. You're not just motivated by the money. It's something that you love to do.
that's it. That is it. Well, guys, this has been so exciting so far, but wait, we still got more to come with Dale Scott. We're going to take a quick break and listen to our community events presented to us by Mama Judy Brown. She's very active in the community, and she has the Kingdom Facebook group. So if you missed something, even in the announcement, of course, you can go back and listen to the replay. But trust, there's a lot that she wasn't able to cover. She could probably do an hour show herself with all the community events going on. So we're going to take a quick break, listen to the community events, and we're going to come back with Dale Scott, and she's going to give us some tips on being cute in
Yes.
quarantine.
Everybody, this is Judy with the Kingdom Report, coming to you every week with some of the latest community, small business, grassroots, nonprofit organization information. If you're not aware, the Kingdom is a Facebook group that's been going on for about 4 years now. And we try to connect all of our creative people, our nonprofits, our churches, our faith-based orgs, as well as small businesses. So I've got a couple of quick announcements for you, and I'm going to get out of your way. Hey, today, D. Renee from 3 to 7 in High Class Cali, they're presenting Free Kicks. It's a sneaker give back for the city. That means, look, they are trying to provide sneakers for everybody they possibly can until supplies run out. It's going to be at 5025 North Tryon, next to the T-Mobile store. That's 5025 North Tryon, next to the T-Mobile. They're going to be broadcasting live on Kickback Radio. There's going to be live performances. So you guys go out and head out and see D. Renee. She's one of the best radio personalities, young radio personalities going out here. That's December 6th on Sunday from 3 to 7 at 5025 North Tryon. Let me get you some other things going on here, guys. Let me see what I have for you. I did have that Brush and Barbecue today between 8 and 10. Brush and Barbecue at Bobby O's Barbecue. They are going to have one of the best sip and paint experiences you can have in the city. For a $15 ticket, you get your sip and paint. That's your easel, canvas, paint, everything you need to paint your masterpiece. They've got over 10 different designs that you can choose from. They also give you a free raffle ticket and a free vacation voucher. Vacations like Myrtle Beach, Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida. You can't beat that. So head out. They even have a group special, 4 for $50. So you know what, if you can do it with your masks on and take some friends you know are safe, go over and hang out there for that evening. Okay, so this ends, actually the sale ends today at 9 o'clock. So I need you guys to be out here and get this going. Bobby O's Barbecue. Look them up on Facebook and Instagram. And it's going to be today from 8 to 10. Let me find some other things for you here in the Kingdom. We've got Precious Pauling. She is doing one of the best young person mentoring programs out there. This is not just for your academics. This is not just for your athletics. This is actually soul and mind mentoring. This is spirit and mind intelligence that she's talking about. And she's doing ages from 5 to 17. Now, she's got an early bird special going on that ends December 12th. I need you to look up Precious Pauling on Facebook, Precious Pauling on Instagram, and you need to find out about this program. If you've got a young person and you're concerned, hey, you know what, I'm making sure that they're getting the best education, but I want to make sure that their insides, their self-confidence, that's really up to date. I need you guys to step out. She's got a book for your child. It's an 8-week program, different things, and then she even gives you a complimentary 30-minute one-on-one soul coaching with your child. Look her up. The sessions start January 17th, 2021. So look up Precious Pauling on Facebook and Instagram. All right, what else is going on here, guys? I hope everybody is doing that social distancing. I hope everybody is doing their hand sanitizer, doing what we need to do to keep these COVID numbers down. There's another shoe giveaway, though, going on, and Charlotte Cares is doing a community event. That's going to be today from 10 to 1 at Johnson C. Smith University, 100 Betty's Ford Road. That's Johnson C. Smith, and they're trying to give out these great Hope Totes. It's going to have new shoes, new socks, hygiene kit, and an encouraging message. They want to do this for nearly 1,000 kids. They are ready to do this completely curbside pickup event. You don't have to get out of your car, and they are following all social distance, health, and safety protocols. But hang out there if you can. Samaritan's Purse, the Kingdom People team, and Single Safe and Serious, we often volunteer with them. So guys, this is going to be a great event from 10 to 1 at Betty's Ford Road, 100 Betty's Ford Road.
Awesome. Thank you again, Miss Judy, for the Kingdom events and the announcements going on. Because that's one thing we want to make sure we know, that there's still things going on. We feel like we're quarantined.
Yes.
We feel like we can't get out, but there are things going on. And there are things going on virtually that you can participate in. So my friends and I are trying to put together a little holiday virtual gathering. So Adele, I need you to tell me how it can be quarantine cute on this holiday virtual event.
Well, this pandemic has definitely it's been challenging, especially as far as our fashion is concerned, and even our beauty regimen is concerned. I'm an avid lipstick wearer, lip gloss wearer. So now we have to wear these masks, which are a challenge, for so many of us as women that wear lip gloss and lipstick. So things like that, so we look, how can we adjust during this pandemic? Because I know when the pandemic first kicked in, first couple weeks, I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this downtime. This feels good because I've been running nonstop for months and months. And then after probably about a good month, I'm getting a little antsy, as most of us were. And then we're getting close to probably about 2 months. And I remember being on the phone with one of my friends, and we were kind of laughing. We're like, okay, well, everybody's wardrobe has just kind of shifted to pajamas because so many people are working from home. It's
Right.
like, okay, why am I even getting dressed up? I'm not going into the office, or, for me, I don't have to go out and meet clients. So that was definitely a struggle for me because, somebody who was always on the go, I had a reason, to dress up, or, definitely, put a little bit more oomph into my appearance, so to speak. And here we are, we're gravitating towards our pajamas, for people who were working from home and they had to do the Zoom calls, okay, well, I only have to worry about kind of from the chest up here.
Exactly.
On my pajama pants. And then, we're gravitating towards pajamas. We're gravitating towards, sweats and athletic gear and the infamous leggings, that pretty much everybody has, adopted into their wardrobe. So here we are. I mean, for some of us, or a majority of us, that was a big jolt. It's like, how do we adjust to this? And then one thing that I come to understand when it comes to our image, how we look sometimes can be a direct reflection of how we feel.
Mhm.
So here we are, we're isolated. We're in this pandemic. We're not having a lot of social interaction. So then wearing pajamas and sweats and leggings is not more so a matter of, okay, I'm doing this because I'm not really seeing anybody today or not having that much social interaction. But now it's just like, okay, mentally, I feel weighed down. So I'm really not pressed to kind of get myself together and dress up. And even I went through that experience. I don't know like how many of us, I call it Rona weight. I've gained about 20 pounds since March. So, I mean, some people have lost weight, some people have gained weight. So a lot of us are dealing with that dynamic as well. So for me, it got to a point where I'm like, okay, this is not me. I got to get myself together. I understand that this has become the norm. But sometimes, you have to kind of, I call it psyching yourself out, because where I was out maybe 4 days out the week, 5 days out the week meeting clients, here I am down to 1 day. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm dressing up 1 day out of a week. I'm getting out, getting that fresh air, that vitamin C, what have you. That's making me feel better, but that's not enough. So, how do we kind of jazz it up? How do we look cute during, this pandemic? And one thing that we can always do, I'm not saying get rid of the leggings or any of that stuff, but find out how can we jazz it up a little bit. Yeah. So especially now that we're into the fall of the year, you think of those leggings, put it on with a nice boot, put it on, you can wear a sweater that's decorative, or even if it's a plain sweater. One way to always jazz up an outfit is with your accessories. That's always the quick fix. So, I even found I wasn't putting on my jewelry as much as I used to. So I'm like, okay, I have to get back to being me in the midst of all of this. Right. So you think of that sweater with your leggings, a decorative sweater, or even something that's more of a neutral, if that's your taste. But I'm a person, like, I like a pop of color. Yeah. Color affects our mood. So this is a way that we can kind of psych ourselves out, especially we're coming down now into the holidays. So you think of those festive colors, or just a bright colored sweater. It could be over top of a black or a neutral color legging with a nice boot, be it knee high, a slouchy boot, or something, a low cut boot, so to speak. Put on a necklace and a pair of earrings. And most people say, okay, well, for me, like, I'm used to wearing makeup. Even from a beauty perspective, put emphasis on the eyes, even though no one can see the mouth because we have the mask on. Yeah. Put emphasis on the eyes. Maybe put on, if you're not really big into, the bold colors when it comes to eyeshadow, you can put on a nude color, but something that has a little shimmer to it, a little sparkle. So these are little things, that we can do to kind of dress our look up. So we're not, too toned down, or we've gotten too comfortable, when we go out, and even during your, your Zoom sessions. Those are looks that will definitely work. So like I said, take that sweater or a blouse, something that's a little decorative, maybe not too much, some embellishment or some adornment, put that on with those jeans, or those leggings with a nice boot, and you'll definitely be good to go, especially in this fall of the year. Throw that on with that coat. There's so many decorative scarves out there and hats. I'm on a fedora kick right now. I love fedoras. I was tempted to put one on for the show, but I have different color fedoras that I put on. Like I had on a sweater, I had on a pair of jeans and boots, and I put my fedora on. I had on leopard boots, black jeans, black sweater, and a beige color fedora, and I put on like 2 dainty necklaces, and I was good to go. All right. So these are ways that we can still look cute, during this pandemic, without going for our typical, sweatpants or hoodie or thing like that, because, that's a big part of how we look, is relative to how we feel, and also our mental state. And that's why fashion is such a powerful force. And I think sometimes people don't realize just how powerful it is. When you don't feel good, you're like, okay, well, I don't really feel like getting dressed up today. I want to put on my pajamas. That's typically the MO. Who feels like getting dressed up when they don't feel well? So if you notice you're getting into that slump, those are some of the kind of things that you can do. And I'm sure that everyone's also noticed there's so many different masks out there now that
Yeah.
you can get, with different colors, different patterns. I've seen some African print ones. I've seen some brightly colored ones. I've seen floral print. So I would say get some different ones rather than just your typical, the regular mask, the standard medical mask, or just your black mask. I think my husband picked up a zebra print one for me. He's like, I know you're a bit of a fashionista. He said, so let me get you a couple different ones. So those are the kind of things that you can do to jazz up, your outfit too, during this pandemic. And then we come into holiday fashion, which, definitely a festive time of year. So we kind of want to take our fashion up a notch in that area as well. But even with COVID, we're not having all the events and all the holiday get-togethers that we typically look forward to. And the work parties and the galas and the balls and the things like that. So that even proposes a challenge for us this year. And so some of the things you want to keep in mind with that, even as I was mentioning, you can do a pair of jeans, or you can still do leggings, especially if you're going to be at home. I'm one of those people, I still try to put on something cute during the holidays, even though we'll probably be in the house this year. So even like the sweater that I have on, if you can see,
I like that.
so it has like rhinestones, it's iridescent all the way down the sleeve. So even something like this with a pair of black leggings, and if you're not leaving the house, of course you're not going to walk around. They have the boots that have the bling on them and the stones and all of that. Of course you're not going to wear that around the house, but they have the slippers that have like the little rhinestone, embellishments and things. So you could put on a sweater like this with a pair of black leggings or a pair of black jeans with your little blinged out slippers. Put on a pair of your stud earrings, your rhinestone earrings or hoops, with a couple of bracelets, and you're good to go. If you are going to be at a small social gathering this holiday season, naturally you want to wear your mask. So they have masks that have the stones on, just like my sweater. So you can get yourself a little blinged out mask if you really want to take it up a notch and jazz it up. And also remember, as far as the makeup, you can just kind of accent the eyes, and that gives you a nice festive holiday look. Doesn't have to be black. You can definitely wear your other festive holiday colors, like your off-white, your red, your gold, your silver. There's a lot of sweaters out there that are have metallic accents or metallic. So you could do like a silver sweater, gold sweater with your black jeans or regular blue jeans, or even your leggings. And you can still put on a cute little boot to go with it. But always remember, accessories are the quick fix. And throw your little blinged on mask there.
Yes. So see, I was like, what is she gonna tell us? But see,
And a lot of this stuff we already have in our
right,
wardrobe.
right.
You figure everybody's got at least a pair of black leggings. Everybody's got a pair of black jeans or blue jeans. You might already have one of those festive sweaters. And if you don't, these are just little things that you can add, where it's definitely within your budget, where you can kind of, have a little bit more of a jazzed up casual look. The whole trajectory of fashion has changed because of COVID. So it's more of, us adjusting, because the events and, aren't really going to be there, or they're going to be scaled down from what we're used to. As far as the formal affairs, those have definitely scaled down because of COVID. So it's like, what can we do within the confines of our own home, or those small, very small, intimate social gatherings where we can still be a little dressy, be in the holiday spirit, and have that festive look.
Yes, I love it. And you guys, you're not left out either. Get your little holiday tie or your holiday bow
Yeah.
tie. You guys can put on some hats. And so, one of the things I wanted to challenge people to do is, during this next month, challenge yourself to do some virtual events. I don't care if it's just you and
Yeah.
your sister, you and your mom, you and your parents, you and your kids from a different room. I mean, challenge yourself to, get excited about life and get excited about dressing up. You can even still do a virtual formal. And I mean, get about
Yeah.
10, 12 of your friends, coworkers on the line. Can have your appetizers on the side and get dressed up. Do your holiday gathering and have fun with it.
Yeah. You can always take it to that next level, if you decide to. And I think that's definitely a great experience. I know my family, we've done a few Zoom sessions. It was a lot of us on the call. And I think most importantly, that social interaction is key. Like you said, doing the virtual events, still staying connected,
Yes,
because there's been such a disconnect during COVID. So that's very, very important.
it is. So all of these things play a part in our lives. The fashion, the color, and one of the main things that you talked about, Dale, which is so true, is that sometimes the way you're dressed really does reflect how you're
Mhm.
feeling on the inside. You've gotten to a place where you're depressed, you have
Yeah.
anxiety, you just don't. When is this going to end? I mean, why do I need to get dressed? Why do I need to put on some lip gloss? Nobody's going to see it. But the thing about it is it's about how you're making yourself feel on the inside. You're reminding
Yeah,
yourself, hey, there's more life to live. There's more
that's
things
right.
to do. We still have opportunities. We still have, things that we can get involved with. Even in the community, I try to say, that's one thing about the announcements, because there's things happening where you can get involved in and you can help somebody else.
Yes.
Because a lot of times when you start helping and start giving,
Hmm.
you realize, oh, well, you know what? Okay, I'm not, I thought I was depressed, but I'm not depressed anymore. You know,
Yeah. At that point, you have no time to focus on,
yeah,
what you feel is negative in your life, or just everything that's going on in your life, because you're focusing on helping others. And I totally agree with that. I was blessed to be able to give to a couple things, causes that are passionate and that are laid on my heart. I'm a big proponent of education.
yeah,
So I was able to bless an organization and give to them, educational organization in my area that helps teens,
yeah,
um, with education, and also, outreach, when it comes to food and services like that, to service the community in need. I was blessed to be able to do that. So, for some of us that have not been dramatically impacted financially from the pandemic, those are other outlets that we can look to take advantage of, because there's so many people suffering right now.
yeah,
Whether they've lost their job, they've lost their home. In some instances, you've had both parties in the household that have both lost their jobs. I know there was an instance where it was a couple, and both of them um, worked in the restaurant industry, and
yeah.
they were both laid off. So it's like, that's not something you foresee, but that's something very traumatic at that point. So, it's about all of us basically, getting through this, doing what we can do, being that good Samaritan, in ways that we can help. So I'm definitely blessed to be able to give back and help in some of those areas.
Absolutely. Dale, thank you so much for being with us today. Like I said, I was excited and felt very honored to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I was hoping that I would be at home, because I've ordered some of your things from the Diva Couture um, boutique, and so I have some accessories, I have handbags, and a lot of different things. So I was hoping to be able to show them off, but not this time. But there definitely are some great things in your boutique, and I appreciate
Thank
everything
you.
that you are doing, every piece of advice or information that you've shared to us today. And before we go, I just want to give you an opportunity, if there's anything else that you want to share, or a word of encouragement, and tell people, of course, how they can follow you.
Sure, sure. Well, I want everyone to definitely stay tuned. You can follow me on social media, on Facebook under Del Scott. I have a personal page and I have a business page. There's also the Diva Couture page, for those fashionistas that love to shop. And also for the gentleman that may be tuning in, if you want to get a gift for that special someone, on Instagram, I have Del Scott Collection, and Diva Couture as well. And I'm on Twitter under those same profiles, Del Scott and Diva Couture as well. The website, delscott.com, delscottcollection.com for the designs, and divacouture.com. And that's DIVACOUTOURE. That's a spin on couture, because I believe that I take you on a tour de fashion. So those are all the websites. I can be reached directly, info@delscott.com or 1-800-804-0194, which is my direct number. So feel free to reach out if you have a question, any inquiries, or you'd love to add some fashion to your wardrobe. You can definitely check out the websites. Stay tuned for the upcoming release of my next collection called Carnival. And that's going to be in February. So I'm looking forward to that. So definitely stay tuned for that. And during this time, just continue to, I'm a proponent of education. I believe that we should always be learning, always evolving. So take this time to pour into you. You are very, very important. Take this time to learn, take up a new hobby, learn something new, read a book, and just, write down your goals, write down your dreams. I'm one of those, I'm a pen and paper girl. I write.
She's saying she's a pen and paper girl, and I'm along with her. I got my little book right here. I've been taking notes. And so definitely I do that as well. I do put notes in my phone, but I definitely write things down, pen and paper. We're going to take a quick break, just a short break, and we will be right back with our closing remarks.
Thank you for being such a wonderful listening audience, whether you were listening live or on the replay. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Making Connections with Allie and Shay, so that you can get notified every time we go live. Do you have a burning message to share with the audience? Contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com with your topic idea and your message to be booked on the show. And if you're an inspirational speaker or a motivator or simply seeking a platform to share your message, contact Miss Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime right here on the Making Connections Network. Again, contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime, your own radio show right here on the Making Connections Network.
That's it. You heard it right here. We have a platform, the Making Connections Network. You are welcome to join us, be a part. I'm so excited. You've seen some of our experts that have taken some of the Monday slots. There's Carrie Ann Lawrence with Health and Wellness. She's a holistic nurse practitioner. Then we have James Thompson, who does inspiration on the fourth Sunday. And in January, we'll be starting with another individual. I'm going to wait and announce it as we get closer. But, we've had some experts to take some spots on the show. So definitely, if you have a platform, if you have a voice, a message that you want to be shared, contact me. Info@aliciajohnson.com, or you can give us a call at 980-389-6826. You can email, text us, or call us at that number. And so Miss Dale lost connection, I think, there for a minute. So not sure if we'll get her back beforehand, but thank you guys. There she comes. Hey girl. So that's okay. You're muted.
Okay.
There you go. So I was just telling them, we just did a little infomercial about the Making Connections Network. So just telling them a little bit about that. But again, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. And I am planning something, you got to have a plan. And I'm trying to work towards it for my 55th birthday. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm gonna be talking to you on the side. I might need you to design me a little something, something.
Okay. I look forward to it. But I think when we were getting ready to I got cut off there. I just want everyone to take this time and just really pour into yourself. A lot of times we're so used to giving and empowering others and helping others that we forget about us, and I believe that we can't adequately be a help to other people if we're not at our strongest or at our best. So I would just implore everyone, use this time wisely,
Yeah,
use it to, start that dream, start that goal, that business that you've always wanted to do, whatever it is. Just use this time wisely, pour into yourself.
absolutely. And like she said, definitely, and whatever it is you need to do for yourself, if it's get some, help through these situations to talk about things, definitely do that. Reach out to somebody because, like I
Yeah.
said, now with the fact that COVID has shut everybody down, there are people who are offering their services for free.
Yes.
There's collaborations you can do. So definitely, definitely take care of yourself, encourage yourself, you know, get some more wisdom about the things that you want to do. If it's fashion, about materials, just things like that. Learn something in this process. So when we come out of this, we are much better people and we're on a better path, right?
That's right.
Well, again, thank you, Dale, for joining us today. I certainly appreciate you. Go find the Diva Couture boutique on Facebook and go to shopping because there's some good stuff on there.
And thank you for having me, Allie. I really enjoyed being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, guys, again, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I was telling Dale before we get, I'm not that good on Instagram anyway, and then Instagram has to change stuff. So, but we are on Instagram and Facebook, and we do our shows every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every Saturday at 12 p.m. The shows are always on the page. So if you missed the show in the past, you've seen a flyer about it, it's on the page. You can go find it and listen to it. Our audience for supporting us throughout all this. We are here for you. We love making connections. And if you need to make a connection with us, give us a call, send us an email. We're here for you. But until next time, as always, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a good day. Bye,
Bye.
y'all.